Hi everybody, Jamm Mangum here, founder, strategic listing specialist and strategic pricing specialist. And I'm here to answer a burning question that I often get, and that is, what's the difference between these two programs? You know, the last 20 years has brought massive changes to the real estate industry. When I first got in, we sold information. Now information is readily available. And despite all of these changes, there are some things that unfortunately haven't changed. And one of them is how we do listing presentations. And really it's because this is the way we are taught to do listing presentations. That listing presentations have two components. The first is to go in and talk about the company and then talk about the marketing plan, and then to show a comparative market analysis. And unfortunately, with all of us doing it exactly the same way, there really is no way to differentiate yourself from the competition. I call it the ceiling fan effect. If you've ever gone and bought a white ceiling fan, it's almost impossible to tell the difference, so you shop on price. That's exactly what happens to the seller today. They shop on who brings them the highest projected sales price and or who has the lowest commission. And so the result of that is there's a lot of really good agents who are out there with overpriced houses with really low commissions. And you know, there's only one thing that's worse than not having a listing, and that is having an overpriced listing, because it just sucks you dry of time, energy, and worst of all, the enthusiasm for your profession. So several years ago, I decided I was going to take on this topic, and I studied under some of the biggest listing gurus. I talked to lots of people, including consumer psychologists. I did lots of listing presentations, but probably the biggest thing I did that brought me information is I asked real estate agents to sit in front of me, pretend I was a seller, and give me their listing presentation. To date, I have seen 211 of them, and I have collected just a massive amount of information that informed me on how to build strategic listing specialists and strategic pricing specialists. So let me show you the format. This is the format. Here you see the phases from left to right of a listing presentation. The first one, the M, is managing the expectations of the seller. This is traditionally done before you go to their house. This is a phone conversation where you're telling them about what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, what they need to do. You're going to be understanding what type of seller they are and what their communication styles are. The U stands for understanding their motivation. And understanding their motivation happens once you get there, where you are going to be asking a lot of really great questions to help uncover exactly what their needs are, so you can understand if you can help them or not. Unfortunately, many people aren't that motivated, and you need to make some decisions about, is this a person that you want to spend your time and energy on? Because if they're not motivated, they're going to probably have a high price. If you do decide you would like to list, you would like to be their agent, you will move on to the third phase, which is selling your value proposition. Notice the vertical lines that represents each of your job responsibilities and how you are going to put more net in their pocket. After you finish with selling your value proposition, then you will move into pricing. The I stands for pricing. And pricing is not just about a number, just about presenting a comparative market analysis. It's about also understanding and creating a market study, and then having the ability to present the market study in an influential way where they will make good decisions. And then the last phase is the close. Notice that there's one band on the bottom, and that is trust, differentiation, and checking. You will be doing that the whole time through all of these phases. By the way, note the gray area in each one of these phases. That is the amount of time that you will be talking versus you listening. So in the first phase, it's a 50-50. But when you're there understanding their motivation, you will not be talking very much. They will be doing the majority of the talking. All right, so to the big answer, and that is, what's the difference? Well, here it is. Strategic listing specialist spends the vast majority of its time on the first three components. It gives you a step-by-step process to do these phases of a listing presentation. You will be totally competent and totally masterful after this training, because you will know exactly how to present your value proposition and understand if this is a person that you would like to work with. Strategic Pricing Specialist spends all of its time on how to build a market study and how to present that market study in an influential way. Now, I do get asked very often, why aren't these together in just one big training? And I chose to separate them out because some people just need one or the other. Some people are really good at value proposition, but not that good at pricing, or vice versa. So that's why I chose to do that. I also chose to do that because I think there's some value in having some processing time in between the two training sessions and becoming comfortable with one set of information before you go to the other. You can take either one of them first. It absolutely makes no difference. So how can you get more information? You can get them at strategicpricingspecialist.com and strategiclistingspecialist.com. At both of those websites is a schedule of where I'm going to be having live classes, and also gives you access to the online classes that are now available. All right, if you have any questions, please shoot me an email, and in the meantime, remember, it is the learners who are the earners.